Islam Makhachev has entered one of the most demanding and disciplined training camps in MMA, where every session is carefully designed to sharpen every aspect of his game. With relentless preparation and elite coaching, the lightweight king is determined to become even more difficult to beat when he steps back into the octagon. However, Islam Makhachev is leaving nothing to chance ahead of his clash with Ian Garry, putting himself through brutal wrestling and grappling sessions that remind everyone why his ground game is considered one of the most dangerous in the sport. Every takedown and every exchange is being refined to ensure he stays one step ahead of his challenger. Ian Garry has impressed throughout his rise, proving himself to be one of the division's most talented and confident contenders, and Islam is taking that threat seriously. That's why every workout is focused on precision and execution, knowing that even the smallest mistake against a fighter of Garry's caliber could prove costly once the cage door shuts.
У меня это есть понятие, как там делать. В голове получается, там не получается. Главное намерение. Но намерение же оценивается.
High in the mountains alongside his teammates, Islam Makhachev is enduring grueling conditioning sessions that push both his body and mind to the limit. From long-distance runs to exhausting daily workouts, he's embracing the hardship that has defined so many Dagestani champions, determined to show that the division still belongs to him. Turning to the PFL Champions Series, Usman Nurmagomedov shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated August showdown between his teammate Islam Makhachev and Ian Garry, expressing complete confidence in the reigning champion. Usman explained that during a recent sparring session, he was surprised by just how physically imposing Islam has become, believing that added strength will be a major advantage against a tall, technical striker like Garry, especially if the fight reaches the ground.
Islam is like best fighter in the world right now, and like what he doing, like nobody can do. Like even he now breaking the records, like how he Anderson Silva.
Yeah, he's tied at 16. So
much,
next one next one, if he wins, he'll have 17
Yes,
and he'll have the record by himself.
Yes. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that, brother?
Yeah. No, I keep saying if he gets to 20, that would be 20 wins in a row would be crazy.
If he did, brother, nobody never gonna break this.
No, I don't think so either.
Offering his final prediction, Usman acknowledged that Ian Garry is an elite fighter capable of creating problems, but he doesn't believe Garry is fully equipped to handle everything Islam brings into the cage. According to Usman, Makhachev's wrestling, grappling, and top control remain on another level, and he expects those weapons to play a decisive role in the fight.
Very good control in the ground and very good wrestling, how to take the guy to on the ground, like. And he have like good striking. Now, very good fight. My opinion is gonna be huge fight. We will see. It's gonna be middle of August, yeah?
Yeah, I think August 15th in Philadelphia is the plan.
Maybe. I doesn't know like exactly when, but my opinion is gonna be good fight, and I think it's gonna be his best camp.
The quiet build-up to this matchup may not last for long, especially considering it's another Dagestan versus Ireland rivalry, a storyline that immediately reminds fans of the legendary Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor feud. MMA journalist Oscar Willis believes that narrative will dominate Fight Week and warns that emotions could quickly boil over, particularly because Ian Garry isn't afraid to stir controversy.
Don't know, but I would imagine they do a press conference on Conor Fight Week with Ian and Islam. I suspect the Irish Dagestani thing will come up pretty heavily because it's on that week.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I think in the past we've seen I always remember Khabib getting really annoyed with Tony because, you know, stereotypically Russians are very, very logical people, and Tony is obviously not a logical person. And I remember Khabib getting very frustrated with like things Tony would say that don't make sense. Ian Garry says a lot of shit that doesn't make sense. So I'm actually curious to see how Islam and Ian play off each other. And I think it'll actually be quite an interesting dynamic. And I imagine because Ian loves to poke the bear, he loves to promote the fight and stuff like that, I could see that getting quite heated quite quick.
From a technical perspective, Oscar Willis still sees Islam Makhachev as the clear favorite, but he believes Ian Garry presents a unique challenge. Gary's ability to control the pace, manage distance, and utilize underrated grappling skills could force Islam into uncomfortable situations. While Makhachev remains the man to beat, Willis believes Garry has the tools to make this contest far more competitive than many expect.
In terms of Ian and Islam, I think Ian's going to give him is a really tricky fight. I don't know if it's tough necessarily, but I think he's a very weird puzzle to overcome for Islam. Ian has the same ability, I think, that Sean Strickland does, in that he just lulls everyone into his pace. He just lulls everyone into his pace, and he just sort of stalls it out, and he just gives them issues and stuff like that. His range, his frame, I think is going to be hard for Islam to work with. It's sort of, Jack Della Maddalena is a small welterweight, Ian is not, so there's going to be a puzzle there. And I don't think I'm airing anything out. I was with Craig Jones in New York, and he said he thinks Ian has shown against Shavkat like really natural tendencies of grapple reversals and scrambles and things like that you wouldn't see at someone else who's not been training grappling for as long as he has, basically.
Examining what it truly takes to remain a champion, Luke Thomas believes Ian Garry could present a more difficult challenge for Islam Makhachev than many fans anticipate. He explains that defending a title against the division's top contender is never an easy task, and Gary's unique skill set creates problems that few opponents can replicate. According to Thomas, even if Islam emerges victorious, the fight may be far more competitive than the dominant performances fans have grown accustomed to seeing.
I still think that, man, the hardest thing to do in MMA is to stand a post at a weight class as the champion and say, send the #1 contenders down the line. Like, being able to beat those guys who on that night, it's their most important night. And of course, it's a huge night for Islam too, but it can't possibly mean the same to him as it does for a guy like Ian Garry. And there's a lot of tape on Islam, but that MMA is full of, there's just something different about being a champion, defending against legit #1 contenders, which Garry, whatever else you want to say about him, absolutely is that at welterweight, having much more difficulty with that than some of these other big stakes fights that we think are going to trip him up. I thought Jack Della Maddalena would have given him a tough fight, and it just wasn't that way at all. I guarantee you Garry gives him a much tougher fight.
Discussing the defensive qualities needed to compete with Islam Makhachev, Ian Garry points to his exceptional fight IQ and defensive awareness as some of his greatest strengths. He believes his unpredictable movement and constantly evolving style make him extremely difficult to prepare for, often forcing opponents out of their comfort zone. Garry is confident that his ability to avoid clean shots against elite competition separates him from the rest of the division.
I'm tricky on the ground, I'm hard to touch, I'm hard to control, I'm hard to predict what I'm going to do, I'm hard to read. All of those are elite stand-up and grappling skills. So from my point of view, there is nobody in this division that is a trickier matchup for Islam Makhachev. I'm 6'3", I'm long, I'm tall, I'm beautiful. I know how to use my hands, my feet. I know how to stop the takedown. I stopped 15 of 17 takedowns from Shavkat and Bilal Muhammad. I know what I'm doing in this sport. 4 people in this sport since I made my UFC debut have double-digit wins.
When asked about Islam Makhachev's comments regarding the Ireland versus Dagestan rivalry, Ian Garry shared his honest reaction, saying he expected even stronger trash talk from a champion of Islam's stature. Despite the verbal exchanges, Garry emphasized that he has genuine respect for Makhachev's accomplishments inside the cage. At the same time, he made it clear that his confidence remains unshaken, believing he has what it takes to leave Philadelphia as the new champion.
Would you call the Garry fight round 2 of the Irish versus Dagestan rivalry? Like they say, from AliExpress, right? So what is AliExpress? Is that Alibaba?
Yeah, it's like kind of
Temu?
Yeah.
Wish?
Yeah. It's like that.
So he's mocking it?
Cheaply manufactured.
He's mocking it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He's saying it's nothing like Khabib versus.
That's crazy. I mean, who would say that? But it still is round 2.
That's his whole point. Yeah, it's round 2, but it's it's the Wish version.
The clip of him saying this is the AliExpress version of that Dagestan-Ireland feud, sort of laughing it off. Is there something here that you're trying to, right the wrong from what transpired in 2018?
What a terrible way for him to sell the fight. What a terrible way for him to talk about himself. Yeah, I take pride in this fight. I take pride in the fact that I'm going to be able to go out there and get a massive win back for my country at the highest stage, at the highest possible point in my career, with all the marbles on the line, the UFC world title. This is the second time Ireland and Dagestan meet in that octagon for a world title, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it's 1-1.
Looking beyond a potential victory over Islam Makhachev, Ian Garry already has a vision for the future of the welterweight division. He wants to be an active champion who consistently faces the toughest contenders and delivers the biggest fights available.
I'll tell you another thing. The welterweight division is better and more interesting with me as the champion.
Why?
And that's a
Why?
Argue all you want. People can argue. It's a in my opinion, that when I'm the champion of the world, the welterweight division is better off. Firstly, Islam only fights once a year. So his next defense might be in July 2027. But the matchups, the stylistic matchups, they're very different. You have on the cards a potential rematch with Carlos Prates. That would be massive. You have on the cards a potential, arguably the biggest fight you can make in the sport at a certain point is a potential rematch with me and Shavkat Rakhmonov whenever he's able and capable to come back.
Rather than protecting the title, Garry says his mission is to raise the standard of the division, defend against the very best, and build a legacy worthy of standing alongside the sport's all-time greats. As for the UFC 330 main event, many MMA analysts share a balanced but confident prediction. While Islam Makhachev is widely regarded as the pound-for-pound king and a future GOAT candidate, they acknowledge that Ian Garry is a dangerous and highly skilled challenger capable of creating serious problems. Even so, they believe Garry's path to victory requires a nearly flawless performance, with Makhachev's elite wrestling, relentless pressure, and dominant ground control ultimately giving the champion the edge.
Can't wait to get into how this fight's going to look, because I think he's got to manage range to the best of his abilities. He's going to have to be perfect for 25 minutes because he doesn't have that single shot KO power that a Morales or a Prates has. And Islam Makhachev is very good at solving problems in front of him. And if you've got to be perfect for 25 minutes in a cage, Islam Makhachev's the last guy you want to have to do that against. So I think this fight's going to wind up being very high level, very fun to see. And I'm just happy that Ian Garry, even though, he has that one loss to Shavkat, aside from that, he's looked damn perfect out there in the UFC in every fight he's in. And love him or hate him or make fun of him, poke fun, because there's obviously a lot of things you can make fun of. The dude can fight. He's confident.
As Islam Makhachev is leaving no stone unturned as he prepares for one of the toughest challenges of his career against Ian Garry. With insights from Usman Nurmagomedov, Luke Thomas, Oscar Willis, and other MMA experts, the build-up highlights Islam's relentless training, Garry's confidence, and elite fight IQ, and why this matchup is far more competitive than many fans believe. While most analysts still favor Makhachev because of his world-class wrestling and grappling, they agree Garry has the skills to push the champion into unfamiliar territory and make this a fascinating battle. Only one question remains: can Ian Garry shock the MMA world and dethrone the pound-for-pound king? Or will Islam Makhachev once again prove why he's one of the most dominant champions the sport has ever seen? We'll find out when these two elite fighters finally meet inside the octagon. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest MMA news, fight breakdowns, and exclusive updates. And let us know in the comments who wins at UFC 330, Islam Makhachev or Ian Garry, and how do you see the fight ending?